Hey guys, it's Daniel. Today I'm under the hood of my 2007 Ford Mustang and I'm going to be removing the wiper arms off of my car today so I can get underneath this panel to get to a leak. So this video is on how to remove the actual arm, not just the wiper blade, and I'm going to do a walkthrough of what you need to do and everything. So for those of you guys who kind of already have an idea and you just want to see the actual removal, feel free to skip ahead. For those of you who don't really know what you're doing, I would recommend watching most of this because I'm going to save you some time and money, hopefully. So first off, this job requires the right tool for the job, and I really recommend getting the tool, because if you don't and you try to rig it somehow, you can risk cracking your windshield or damaging the surrounding plate around the actual arm, and that could be pretty expensive over time. So there's a little bit of a variation between these tools. There are several different kinds. This is the one that I got off of Amazon. It was like $18. Other ones that were cheaper had really bad reviews, so I would recommend getting a little bit more higher end one just so you don't have to run into any inconveniences. I'm going to try this one out. Hopefully it'll work pretty well. It is, like I said, there is a little bit of a variation though, but get this tool, and basically any of them, what their purpose is to get underneath the wiper blade and apply pressure on the top and pop it off, versus trying to like pry it or anything. So there is a special tool. It's called a wiper arm removal tool, and again, there's a couple different kinds, but I would get a higher end one just so you don't have to deal with any inconveniences. So the steps for this project are the same for both arms, so I'm just going to focus on one arm and video that, and then you can apply those same steps to the other arm to remove it. So let's take a closer look and see the first steps. So this is the driver's side arm. I'm going to focus on this one in the video. Again, this is a 2007 Ford Mustang, so if you have a different car, it could be slightly different, but usually there's the same general kind of steps, but the sizes of sockets and stuff that you might use could be a little bit different than what you're seeing in this video. So first thing I'm going to do is remove this cap. This is just a rubber cap that they use to cover the nut. You'll notice that the nut's already backed off. It's usually tightened down all the way, but I have already backed it off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it completely off. This takes a 13mm socket. And the reason that it was backed off already was because I took it off earlier and I sprayed a penetrating lubricant on this to kind of help get rid of any kind of corrosion or rust that could build up. Basically, it would just help loosen any of that stuff up to help the actual removal go easier. So once you take that nut off, you should have a little threaded stud popping out of the top of the blade. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook our tool underneath the blade, and the part that you screw down is going to meet this stud and push against that and put pressure on the bottom until the blade comes off. So again, your tool could be slightly different than what I have, but that's the same general concept that they all use. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that tool. I'm going to back the tool out as far as I can so that I can have some room getting sliding it onto that stud. Hopefully it'll go back far enough. And then I'm going to slide it onto the wiper blade. Like so. And now mine actually has an adjustment right here that tightens down so that the actual arms will pinch around the blade. So I'm going to tighten that down so that the arms have a good grip on it. And I'm noticing that it is a little bit of a tight fit right now. So you might have the same problem with, this is actually called the cowl panel, and this edge right here is kind of bumping up against the tool, but as long as it's pushing straight on that stud and not at an angle, you should be fine. So again, just be cautious about messing up your panel here, because you don't obviously want to scratch that. So I've tightened it down and the arms are wrapped securely around the blade, and now I'm actually going to start spinning. And again, the further I spin, the more pressure is going to be applied to the blade, and it's already on there pretty tightly. So I'm going to continue to spin, and it should put enough pressure on it to actually pop the arm off eventually. And there it went. So that was pretty quick, but it just, like I said, put pressure on the bottom and it popped right off. So you can see, if you look closely, I'll zoom in for you a little bit. Not only is it threaded on this stud where the nut goes, but the actual bar that comes out is also threaded on the tapered part, and that keeps the arm from actually spinning at all. So that's kind of why you have to pry it off, because in between these threads gets locked up. So now what I'm going to do, I'll be able to take my arm completely off out of the way now. And now I will have access to get this panel off, which is what my purpose was for getting this leak fixed, which I'm also addressing in another video. So that's how to remove your arm. Putting it on is obviously very straightforward. You just slide the arm back on, making sure that these threads line up nicely, and then tighten the nut back down. Now, what I'm going to do to make things easier in the future is put a product called Tef Gel, and it's basically an anti-seizing compound, and I'm going to put it not only on the vertical threads but the nut threads too, and it's going to keep the corrosion and rust away from occluding here, because obviously you don't want any corrosion on your car. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, you can use the same steps for the other arm, and they should just pop right off just like you saw. So again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'm always open for other video suggestions, so you can always send me a message or contact me and ask me for requests. I'll do my best to get to them as soon as possible if I can do them. I hope you guys found the video helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.